Good morning, Stacey. How are you today?
Good morning. Good.
Good. I am glad to have you talking with me today because we have had a new colleague amongst us these last couple of weeks. And I know I can speak from my own experience how lovely it's been to have Kaci, your service dog, in the building with us. And we just thought it might be fun to spend a little bit of time kind of talking about having a service animal and what that looks like in therapy sometimes.
Yeah, and on behalf of Kaci, I'll say that she loves coming. I'm not sure who likes it more, her or me, because I think having had her in my practice from the time that she was a puppy and then having a break because of COVID, I've noticed a big difference for myself as well as for clients. And I think, her being a therapy dog,
Yeah.
kind of, she's always, and I always say, like, people say, well, how do you train your dog to be a therapy dog? And I'm like, well, they just either like it or they don't.
Yeah.
And so Casey's always had it kind of in her. And when she comes in, she just gravitates to people. So that's been a big piece of having her in the space, just and in the office alone, just changes that environment.
Yeah, it
And
really
she
does.
yeah, and it's kind of allows clients to kind of go, whew.
Yeah. There's something too, I think, about having a pet around. Like one thing I love about our office setting is that we're in a home, not a building. So it's an old house and, having an animal around, it just sort of changes the energy a little bit, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. And I mean, Kaci obviously brings her own energy in the morning and the excitement of coming in the door. And I think, every time she greets a client, like in the space too, she has that, like, always gonna get up, always gonna, like, come and say hi to you. It's that unconditional, just like hi,
Yeah, absolutely.
which is so heartwarming and nice,
It is. And I have said this myself and to a couple of clients and other people in the building, like she's been good for us. Like I don't know if you've noticed this, Stacey, but when you would normally walk in the building without Kaci, I might say good morning. I might not until I have time later in the day. But when I hear those little feet coming in the front door, I can't wait to say hello to her. And it is kind of that unconditional, like, she's happy to be here. She's ready to bring some energy with her. And there is a feeling that just comes with seeing her that's grounding for me, even as a therapist in
Yeah.
the building with her
And I think
around.
she just does her rounds in the morning too. She just, like, okay, office, to see Taylor, then up and whoever's around. And she always has to say hi to everybody and just kind of do that, like, check-in.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely a really nice feel. And I think in session with clients, it's that extra body that they can just kind of, like, Casey's always willing to be pet, or, if people are having a hard day, like, she kind of knows and will kind of go over to them, and she's just always willing to kind of be next to them.
Yeah.
And then also give space if that's kind of wanted as well. Like, she'll
Yeah.
go lay under, like right now she's at my feet.
Yeah.
Um,
She's
yeah.
almost like a mirror. Like she has
Mhm.
that ability to kind of reflect back in a way that's different, I think, in person to person interactions.
Yeah.
Like she's kind of feeling the energy and kind of seems to know where she needs to go or what she needs to do for that person in that moment, which is yeah, not something humans always have the ability to read as well as animals do.
Yeah, we talk about grounding a lot, and we have a lot of tools and stuff that we share with clients in terms of keeping them grounded and in our space and feeling safe. And it's often when people go to counseling and therapy to work on difficult emotions, and
Yeah.
those can really elevate us really quickly. And so if you're talking about those and at the same time have, Casey's kind of there and they're petting, I find people are able to tolerate a bit more
Yeah.
of those kind of bigger emotions.
Yeah.
And like you said, Casey's a bit of a mirror too. So often you can kind of bring their awareness, because Casey's breathing will often match kind of the scenario as
Yeah.
well as her behavior.
Yeah. And I think like when you were saying that, I was like thinking of my own pets I've had over the years, like when I've been sad or when I've been mad and my dog kind of comes up and snuggles up to me, like they just seem to know what the
Yeah.
right time is or what you need. And you can cry your heart out to an animal and they're just gonna like love you anyway, right? Like there is that feeling of connectedness. I think that happens
Yeah.
more instantly with an animal for some people, maybe not for every
Mhm.
person, but it's in a human to human relationship, there is a little more of having to get to know each other. But for some reason, and I've witnessed it with Kaci, like people just kind of want to get into that space with her, which is really cool. It
Yeah, I
accelerates
think
the
a lot of
relationship.
it does, and animals, they don't have a filter, so what you see is what you get,
Yeah.
so you know right away,
Yeah.
which is really nice, and
So
yeah.
how long has Kaci been doing this type of work?
Oh my gosh, so before Kaci, I had another golden retriever who I trained to be a therapy dog, and then after she passed away, I got Kaci, and Kaci's been doing this literally. She got her first little vest at probably 8 weeks old. And I started bringing her to the clinic I was working at then, and just kind of introducing her to it and seeing if she liked it, because that was the big thing. It was if it wasn't her thing, then
Yeah.
it just wasn't going to be. But she gravitated to it, and so she's been doing it since then, but with that big break because of COVID, and then I kind of brought her back in, and I think I've told you, and I think this is important too, because I think as so many people have experienced this, but you know, Kaci just has really changed. Like she's happier since working. So she didn't have that piece because of COVID for about a year and almost a year and a half, I guess. And then when she started back, literally in the first week or two, like her overall general happiness just went up, and it was very noticeable. And so and that to me also says like this is just kind of her thing, and she just loves being there to support people. And they said every time a client comes in, and she kind of can gauge how much they want her around, but she's just happy to kind of be in the space. And so
It makes me think too, like all of us need to have values and purpose, and even animals sometimes need to take on those roles and responsibilities as part of their overall health and well-being. And for Kaci, it's coming to work, and we see that in her. Like this is her thing. It's not every dog's thing. I'm not taking my dog to work. I don't think my dog would have the same impact, but with Kaci, you can tell how much she just really genuinely wants to be involved and to be part of our team. We're happy to have her as part of the team.
And every morning she comes, I say, you want to go to work? And she's like, down the hall and out the door. So.
And I was just going to mention to people, because I think our clients, as you're here with Kaci, because Kaci comes, I think, pretty well every day that you're here. Lately, she has been. Yeah.
She has been. And I've just been keeping an eye on, like, making sure that, of course, if anybody has fear or doesn't really want to interact with a dog, and that's completely understandable, then I try not to have her here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What has the response been so far? Have you noticed?
I've had more requests for her than anything else.
Yeah, I bet.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
And like you said, like we have enough space in the building that, we've kind of put a sign in the foyer so that if there is anybody that, has an allergy or a fear or a concern about her being here. But I think as she's getting to know everyone, I think the response has been, people are genuinely pretty excited to see a service pet on the premises too. Yeah.
So she's always willing to give little pets or get pets and treats and stuff like that. So, but yeah, it's one of those things where it's not necessary, but it's there, and can be helpful too.
Yeah. And I don't think I said this, I was thinking it, but she's your service animal. So, if somebody wanted to have a service dog in session, that is something that you provide. I know you've been generous and like allowed some of my clients to be introduced to her too, but you have the responsibility for her when she's in the building. So I guess just to make that point too, that she's not just roaming around office to office and kind of going freely where she chooses, that there is a structure and a responsibility that she's trained with you.
Yes, and I mean, she would love that opportunity and that freedom. But no, yes, and I mean that's the unique thing in Canada is they, over the last couple of years anyway, they've really struggled to kind of come up with like clear regulations and stuff, because therapy dog is actually the lowest level of a service.
Okay.
And so they don't have the same rights as like a CNI dog or like a PTSD dog, those sorts of things. But it's and I mean that's okay. It's just so when she's here, I take her under me because she's on my insurance and stuff. But yeah, and so it's in Canada they're still working on that, I think.
Yeah.
Quite a bit. But I think there's such an important, part. And I've really, I mean, I've seen it, you know, at the other clinic I worked with, and, you know, and that clinic had like lots of different services too. And just everybody who came in, it wasn't just like my clients, but everybody looked forward to, you know, where's Kaci, or, you
Yeah.
know, "Oh, she's not here today." Like,
No
so,
wonder
you
she
know,
likes work so much. She's so popular.
it's true. And, you know, even when I went virtual for COVID, people still wanted to see her on camera to kind of
Yeah.
know that she was, you know, and how is she? And
Yeah.
I think it just really changes, you know, it changes that the atmosphere. It changes the atmosphere. It changes because, you know, it's stressful. People are coming not to talk about like necessarily all the happy things that are happening. So it's nice to have that calm piece
Yeah.
that is just kind of there. So
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, we're super glad to have her around and looking forward
yeah,
for her to kind of get more and more comfortable being in our building and getting to know everyone. I don't think it's taken that long. Stacey did
no,
have to bring in office treats because some of us have a hard time not sharing our lunches with
yeah.
animals that look at us with pleading eyes. So we've got a plan. We know when she's at work, she's at work. So, but
Yeah.
she's a wonderful girl, and she's really been a special part of my day for sure. I look forward to seeing her.
Well, and I
Before,
think she's pretty comfortable because she's, I'll share a visual here of her
good.
snoozing away if I can turn the camera. I don't know how to turn. Oh, yes, I do. There it is.
Ah, there she is. She's
Hey,
so
Kaci.
sweet. She gets tired. She needs to take her rests when she can. Oh, I think you might have froze a little bit, Stacey. Hopefully we can get you back.
Yes.
There she
So
is.
she's quite comfy, and oh, so yeah, so she's quite comfortable, and always she naps between sessions, so she's always ready for the next person.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you told me like sometimes she does get quite tired, right? Like sometimes being present and like kind of like therapists, you know, we deal with people's energy and we kind of have to know how to take care of ourselves. So it sounds like she instinctively knows when she needs to curl up and have a little nap between sessions.
She does, and you know, you can really see it. Kaci will shake when she starts to feel it. She'll just kind of shake it off a little
Yeah.
bit, and
Yeah.
which I think is it's also a really important thing that I kind of point out to people is that, you know, we need to do that, find a
Yeah.
way to do that, right? She can visibly shake, but we need to find other ways to kind of release.
Yeah.
Um, and I guess the other thing that and I'll just say because I run into it quite a lot because she does her best as service dog, just um, because of how they sell them, and the card on top, you know, says therapy. But you know, people always worry about obviously touching a service dog and that sort
Yes.
of stuff. But Kaci's always, as a therapy dog, that's part of her role. So
Right.
um,
That's
yeah.
good to know because you're right. Because even myself, I wasn't sure how I should interact with her because I'm an animal lover.
Yeah.
So of course I want to interact like I would any puppy or dog that I see. But that's her job, right? Is to
Yes,
interact with
and
people
her
in
job
this
is to
way.
interact. So,
Yeah.
not like any other service dog who might kind of sit next to the owner. Casey's always like, "Hello,"
Yes.
and will kind of be the one to greet you. And so sometimes it's a little bit like, "Can I touch her? She's right here." And absolutely, that's what she
Yeah.
wants you to do. So,
That
yeah,
is awesome. Well, thank you so much for bringing Kaci into the office with you and for spending a few minutes talking with us all about kind of understanding her. Because that's why I wanted to do this title talk with you, because I've asked you lots of questions like this, and I thought it might be a good thing for people to kind of know what to expect when they're coming in. So
Mhm.
I hope you and Kaci have a wonderful day, and we will
Yeah,
keep looking forward to having her on our team.
yes, and she will have a profile up on the website soon. So,
I can't
yeah,
wait.
if people want to read a little bit about her or see her picture, then she'll be up there soon. So,
Yeah, that's awesome. Awesome. All right. Have a good day, Stacey. Take care.
you too.
See
Bye.
ya.